She said, "Let's do this again soon." And you said, "Yes, definitely." And you both knew you were lying. And here's the part nobody puts on a greeting card. The relief she felt wasn't guilt. It was the lie letting her off the hook. She doesn't want the friendship. She wants to have wanted it. Watch her now, engine off, garage, the metal still ticking as it cools, like a clock counting down to a door she isn't going to open yet. 4 steps to the house. She's sitting in what used to be a 4-second pause. Keys out, breathe, go in. And somewhere over the years, it quietly stretched into 4 minutes, then longer. You know that feeling, when the safest place in your whole life is the front seat of a parked car in a dark garage where nobody needs anything from you for exactly as long as you can get away with it. That's not rest. That's hiding. Nobody warns you about this part. They warn you about the labor, the no sleep, the teenage years. Nobody sits you down at the baby shower and says, "One day you'll be 45, you'll be good at everything, and you'll have nobody to call who isn't related to you by blood or a group text." And the shadow sitting in the passenger seat with her isn't loneliness. Loneliness would be easier, honestly. It's something colder. It's a woman who got so good at being needed, she forgot how to be known. The phone lit up against the cup holder. Karen. "Today was so nice. Let's actually do it again." And watch what she does with it. She doesn't type back. She taps the little heart, the react, that tidy, frictionless thumb tap that looks like warmth and costs absolutely nothing. Then she turns the phone face down. There. Handled. Filed. Same motion she uses on a receipt she'll never look at again. That was the first real, non-logistical coffee she's had in 2 years. 2 years. Not a school pickup. Not a, "Hey, can you grab Emma?" Not a parent group thing. An actual hour where a grown woman looked at her and wanted more of her. And her body treated it like a smoke alarm. Out loud, the mask is flawless. "Of course, I'd love that. Life's just so crazy right now. Let's find a time." She believes it when she says it. That's the genius of it. It's the most socially acceptable lie there is, because everyone nods along. Busy mom. Of course, it is what it is. But inside the garage, the real machinery is already running. She's taking Karen, warm, kind, interested Karen, and she's running her through the exact same triage she runs everything through. The groceries, the carpool, the dishwasher that's making that sound again. And Karen gets filed, somewhere below all of it, in the column of things she'll get to when there's a gap. The gap that never, ever comes. The mythical gap. The one she keeps promising people like it's a real place she's going to take them someday. Here's the lie she tells herself, the clean one, the respectable one. "I'm just too busy right now." No, she's not too busy for Karen. She has run 4 people's entire lives off a shared calendar for 15 years. She can absolutely find a Tuesday. That's not the block. The block is this. If she says yes twice, Karen stops being a stranger, and a second coffee is close enough to see inside. Close enough to ask the question that terrifies her. Not, "How are the kids?" but, "No, how are you? What do you even like anymore?" And she's not sure there's an answer in there. So she answers warmth with a heart react and a vague, "Soon." Because here's the sick math, the part she'd never say out loud. Saying yes, soon, feels almost identical to being a good friend, almost the same warm hit, except it costs nothing, risks nothing, and delivers nothing. She gets to feel like the kind of woman who has friends, without the unbearable danger of someone actually staying long enough to find out there's no one home behind the helpful. So let's open her up. Let's look at the actual machine she's running in that garage, because it's uglier than busy, and she knows it. Here's what she learned somewhere along the way, without ever deciding to learn it. The feeling of almost connection is safer than the real thing, far safer. So she collects these warm coffees that go nowhere, the nice chat at the school gate, the cashier who knows her name, little hits of human warmth with the exits already mapped, and she stacks them up and calls it a social life. For real, she'd tell you she has plenty of people. She just doesn't have anyone. Because here's what she'd never say at the school gate. She has a whole social life made entirely of people who would not come to her funeral. Cashiers, other moms whose last names she's not sure of, the nice woman from spin class. A warm little network of almost. And she runs it beautifully. Because running things is the one thing she's still allowed to be good at. And following up, actually texting back a real day, a real time, that means a second meeting. And a second meeting is the dangerous one. She traded hers for a shared calendar a long time ago. That's the chain. That's the whole thing. She didn't lose herself in some dramatic moment. She gave herself away one carpool at a time, one "I'll handle it" at a time, until the woman who used to have opinions about music and movies and what she wanted for dinner just quietly moved out. And nobody noticed, including her. And watch, she's doing it right now. She catches her own thumb already drafting the future excuse. This month is insane. After the kids' thing settles down, then for sure. A plan that doesn't even exist yet, and she's already writing its apology. She is pre-canceling a friendship that hasn't had a single second date. Now, here's where it stops being about her and starts being about you. You think you're protecting your schedule. You think it's the time. It's not the time. You answer warmth with a heart react and a vague soon, because a friendship kept in the maybe stage can be enjoyed like a daydream. All of the glow, none of the risk. Forever pending, forever safe. The second it becomes a real plan, it becomes something that can fail. Something where the other person could get close enough to ask what you actually like. And you'd have to sit there, smiling, realizing you don't remember the answer. That's the trap. She's not keeping people at the door to protect her peace. She's keeping them at the door so nobody stays long enough to find the empty room. And honestly, that's a cage. But she built it, and she keeps the only key. So now she's sitting in the garage, running the only thing she knows how to run. The math, the cost-benefit, the same ledger she uses to decide whether it's worth driving back to Target for the things she forgot. Except this time, the line item on the spreadsheet is herself. And it splits into two columns, two voices, a phantom argument she's been having for years and somehow never finishes. The first voice, call it the brave one, says, "Just text her something real, right now, before you go inside. Not soon, not the heart react, something true." Honestly, I'd love a standing thing, every other Tuesday, because I think I forgot how to have friends, and I'm trying. If she sends that, then look at the gain. For the first time in years, somebody would see her as a person who wants something, not just the woman who manages, who serves, who handles it. The maybe becomes a fact, a real, scheduled, can't triage it away fact, sitting on the shared calendar between the dentist and the carpool, taking up space that belongs to her, her own oxygen. Every other Tuesday that nobody can reschedule. But then, the price. And this is where her thumb goes cold over the screen. Because if she sends it, it's binding. Now she can be flaked on. Now she can be outgrown. Now Karen has a standing invitation to keep showing up, until the Tuesday she finally meets the empty room behind the helpful, and quietly decides it isn't worth the drive. And there is no recovering from that. The woman who reached first, hand out, "I'm trying," and got left holding it. That's the surgery with no anesthesia. That's the version of herself she's not sure she could survive. So the second voice, the quiet, reasonable one, the one that always wins, says, "Just let it sit. Let the heart react stand. Go inside. Let soon do what soon always does. Expire. Soft. Painless. Like it never happened." And the gain there is so seductive. Peace. An afternoon where nobody got close enough to cost her anything. She stays exactly what she's good at being, the warm acquaintance everyone likes and no one actually knows. No risk, no exposure. The empty room stays locked, and she keeps the key, and the day ends with her still standing. But that price, that one she pays slow. So slow she's trained herself not to feel it, because if she lets soon expire, then Karen becomes one more coffee that went nowhere, one more name she'll think of at 2 a.m. and feel a little sick about. And the pile becomes evidence, a neat, well-organized case file proving the thing she's started to believe, that she just can't make friends at this age, that everyone else is the busy one, that this is simply what 45 looks like, and she should be grateful she's not worse off. And the self she could have offered, the one with opinions, the one who used to laugh too loud, rots one more degree inside the column she swears she'll get to, and never, ever fills. Here's the trap she can't see, even now, even with the engine ticking down to silence. Both columns are written in her own handwriting. She built the cage, she locked it, and she's sitting in the one place she feels safe. A dark garage, 4 steps from a family that needs her and doesn't know her, pretending the lock was someone else's idea. And here's the thing she finally lets herself feel, just for a second, before she buries it again. She can recite Karen's whole life, the kids' names, the job, where they went on vacation, everything. And Karen drove away today knowing nothing. Because Lisa ran the entire coffee the way she runs everything, as the listener, the manager, the safe one. Again. She didn't forget to be known. She made sure of it. So now she picks up the Target bag she doesn't even need to carry in yet. One hand on the door handle to the house, the other hand holding the phone, the reply still glowing, still unsent. 4 steps of cold concrete between her and the life that needs her. The house door is right there. But the other door, the standing Tuesday, the "I'm trying," the terrifying chance of being a person again, that one's unlocked too. She's not deciding. She's just standing, weighing which version of herself she can survive. The door is unlocked. Which one are you walking through?